welcome to Griffinscope Tarot. This is episode 12 of Learning Tarot Without Textbooks. Today we're going to look at morals. This was actually one of the questions that was sent in last night to me, and I think it's something really important to cover. So I'm going to put all the cards out onto the table, not all the cards, but some of the kind of rock stars, if you will, that are quite frightening for people to look at when they see in a reading. It's like, oh my goodness, how do I interpret that? I really dislike it when people kind of amp up these cards and put all the fear on it and the woohoo, and there's really no need. What we need to do is actually get comfortable with these particular cards. So yes, they're quite jarring to look at. One of you asked if all the same symbols are in all the different types of tarot decks. Similar, yes, but there'll be all sorts of different interpretations. So it's whatever unlocks the door for your intuition, really. So I've put out the Devil, the Tower, and the Death card. Oh my goodness, nobody wants to see these guys, do they, in a reading? Let's start off with the Death card then. So personally, I would 99.9% of the time never ever predict a death. That is immoral to do. I am not a doctor. I don't know this person. Just do not do it. Don't go there. 99.9% of the time anyway, death is all about change. Think about it. Have you ever thought about death? I know in our society it can be quite, it's something you kind of shove under the carpet, or people will accuse you or judge you of being morbid if you bring it up, and it's because it threatens us, you know. If there's one thing we can be certain upon, it is that death is going to happen. What is death? Well, nothing really dies, does it, when it comes to energy? If you look at a rock, anything under a microscope, it's going to be showing minutiae particles that are moving. Even when our bodies are decaying, things are still changing, aren't they? Life would become very, very boring if everything stayed the same. There was no death, there was no full stop on life. So if you were into tennis, you could become a tennis player forever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah, it would get pretty boring. So switching things up in life is very, very important. Understanding how we go with the flow, how we allow the house of cards to fall sometimes, how we approach that mentally. So think about death. Think about the little deaths that happen moment to moment, the ticking of the clock, the minutes in the hour that are lost can never be regained, It's all about the present. Somebody also asked me, actually, if the position of the cards of the big block readings that I do, if they all have a position, just like in a traditional, say, Celtic cross reading. No, they don't. It's a block reading, so I can read diagonally, vertically, horizontally, anyway. It's a block reading. All those cards relate to the here and now. Just wanted to quickly get that one in. I think that was from Susie Piper. Right, so death, yeah. Everything dies. It's part of the natural cycle. Life, death, rebirth. We can see that the crow's soul is rising from the bones, from the flesh, and onto the next. One door closes, another door opens. One of the most beautiful, beautiful cards. I love, love, love this card. This is the Death card in the Mystical Cats Tarot. Note how the elders, the wise ones, are gathering round one of their own tribe that's crossing over, in the moment of crossing over. Oh my goodness, it gives me tingles when I look at that. I love it. So, the Death card doesn't always have to be scary and affronting. You could go for a tarot deck where it's a little bit more gentle in its relating. So the next one I chose was the Devil. So people start to get all sorts sorts of crazy psychology going on in their minds when they see the devil, thinking that they could be possessed and this kind of thing. No, the devil is in all of us, isn't it? How many of us all have guilty pleasures in the shadows? For instance, when I listen to music, and I know it's a bit of a naff song, but, you know, it gets me moving and dancing, I'll be calling that my shuffle of shame on the old Spotify or whatever. So the devil can come in many guises. Note he's got a pentacle, so earth energy, very, very earthy, makes a good businessman. But there's no... What always gives me the pointer with this one is there's no boundaries to that pentacle, you know, there's no line in the sand with this one. It will do anything for that wealth, tell any lie. Many things go with this, addictions as much as anything else, especially if it was next to a cups card. So the devil also I like in the curious cats. Notice how the temptation there of the block of cheese in the cat's mouth, tempting in the mouse. Cat wins. The last one, the Tower. Again, a very scary card to see for some people in a reading. And the reason for that is it's never really that good a news. Something is coming down to the ground. Those foundations were very, very rocky, and something had wobbled them, and now that's coming down. It can be the ego that's coming down, because, thank you whoever pointed this out, I knew I wasn't saying it right. The facade, not facade, facade, that sounds so much better, that we all build up within our egos and our personalities. We tell ourselves things, don't we, that aren't really true and that don't really serve us. And the Tower can be another way of bringing that down so that what's left of us is the very, very essence, the raw personality and spirit of us, which can be built back up into something glorious and new and way more befitting. So to all of these cards that do bring a lot of conflict, there will always be the light as well there. Always see the yin and the yang in these cards. It's definitely there. So the initial is, oh my God, I don't want to see that. That's just, you know, too terrible or whatever. But go into it, go under, you know, like I'm always saying to you, there's looking at cards and then there's really looking at them. So the Death card in Curious Cats, that one. Quite like that one as well. Yeah, so get those cards out in your deck and I want you to keep them out all day. This is your homework. Don't come back and look at them till the end of the evening. Your peripheral vision, anyway, will be taking in these images into your unconscious. Your unconscious will be processing them. Trust the process is what I always say. And yeah, don't predict death. Have some good moral codes and ethics when you're reading. You don't want to give the profession a bad name. You know, there's so many parodies, isn't there, of readers and this kind of thing. So just come across as very grounded and balanced, and that way you'll earn the respect of your clients, and always be very honest. Never leave them in a high anxious state when they're leaving. They've come to you for a reason. They want an answer. So make it balanced. There is always balance to be read somewhere. So yes, you'll get these difficult cards come up, but there'll always be something, a different way of looking at it, a way through that's going to help things. So my music today, because we do like to learn through the arts, that's going to go with the Devil card is going to be by a band called The Gathering. They're Dutch, and it's called Herbal Movement, this piece. It's beautiful. I actually recorded it as well, and it definitely reminds me of this kind of, you know, when one has guilty pleasures, the drunkeny kind of ethereal stuff that goes with being high or drunk, addictions, yeah, the flow of it as well. This song, it's definitely got cups energy in there, but it's also about getting high, I believe. So get into it, get into these cards so that you really, aren't going to feel afraid or worried when they come up. If you're feeling afraid and worried, if they come up and unsure, then that's what's going to be conveyed to your client or your querent. So I want you to be nice and comfortable, all right? Okay, so Carla Fowler, a question from last night. So when I was explaining about how to prepare your cards, I was talking about getting all the cards upright. Once they're all upright and you've blessed them, you then begin to shuffle. Shuffle from your right hand into your left hand, the psychic hand. Concentrate. This is a real kind of test of your willpower. Concentrate only on that question. That's the only thing you want to be. Don't need to be thinking about the shopping that you've got to do later on, or the washing up. It's literally only on that question, and your mind might want to wander. Bang, bring it back. Concentrate on that question. When you get a flyer, that can be a time when you stop shuffling, or when you get a change in your energy, a magnetic pull, a tingle, anything it can be, or even a vision, just a picture. It can be completely unrelated. You might not understand it, but just stop at that point. Every time I do that, I always get confirmation that I shuffled correctly. So say if I was doing a reading and I'd put out the birth card and the birth pairing card, I've shuffled, I've done it in that method. My cards are already programmed over and over to work in that way. And lo and behold, it always comes out in the reading. And I was like, yeah, glad I stopped there. I know I did it right. You'll get confirmation over time with experience. Trust the process. Dee Dee, not all the majors, when we were looking at the numbers through the Hierophant energy, so how those spiritual lessons come down through the pip cards, 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords, etc. No, in that particular instant, what we were looking at, they just relate to what I was saying. But yeah, you can still get tons and tons of every single life experience just through looking at them that way. Okay, keep your enthusiasm up, stay patient, keep your questions coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That keeps the content coming. And I will see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.